Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015 whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the U in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to catch us every Friday at 7 p.m. on the Friday Fix. Don't forget to catch us on our other shows, Civil Discourse, Plays and Parlays, and sticking here with us on our flagship show, Uncommon Courtesy. How you doing, Mr. Wesley?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We just had a very, very interesting night last night with the House passing a massive a spending bill, I will look at it as, but they call a tax cut that's really going to affect a lot of America. Yep. And I think it's going to affect a lot more of their newfound constituents than anybody else.
I mean, hey, man, people got to starve. That's what they voted for.
That's what they voted for. Republican-led House passes Trump's agenda bill by a single vote. After weeks of internal GOP wrangling, the Republican-led House early Thursday passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, critical to advancing President Donald Trump's tax and immigration agenda. A smiling Speaker Johnson announced the massive measure passed by a single vote, 215 to 214, and was greeted with applause. He has struggled to get it done, as he had promised, by Memorial Day before lawmakers go on recess. The sweeping package of tax cuts, Medicaid reform, and immigration spending delivers on many of the president's domestic campaign promises. Following debate that stretched Wednesday through the entire night and into early Thursday morning, the vote was a triumphant moment for Johnson, who conquered sharp divisions among his conference through a lot of prayer amid a historically low 3-vote majority. The bill gets Americans back to winning again, and it's been a long time coming, Johnson proclaimed during his speech on the floor moments before the final vote. It quite literally is again morning in America, isn't it? All right. Trump celebrated the passage of what he called the One Big Beautiful Bill in a social media post, calling it the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be signed in the history of our country. He said it fulfilled his campaign promise of no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. He has recognized the tax deductions when consumers purchase an American-made vehicle, funding for the Golden Dome defense system, and the Trump savings accounts incorporated in the legislation. Great job by Speaker Johnson and the House leadership, and thank you to every Republican who voted yes on this historic bill, Trump wrote. Now it's time for our friends in the United States Senate to go to work and send this bill to my desk as soon as possible, Trump added before slamming Democrats. During the final House vote, Republican lawmakers approached the speaker with congratulatory handshakes and backslaps. Someone also played Queen's "We Are the Champions" off of a phone for about 10 seconds while the vote was underway. Republicans cheered, whistled, and applauded when the threshold for passage was achieved at 6:54 a.m. The successful vote with one GOP lawmaker voting present sends the reconciliation bill to the Senate, where Republicans' majority is expected to revise legislation over the next month or long. Two Republican reps, Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Warren Davidson of Ohio, opposed the vote alongside the entire House Democratic caucus. Rep. Andy Harris, the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, voted present.
So the big beautiful bill includes it's 8 million people are going to be losing their Medicaid, 490 billion in Medicare cuts, 300 billion food aid cuts, 2 million will lose your child tax credit. So, and it raises the debt by 4 trillion. Let me see. It eliminates health insurance for 13.7 million Americans, takes away food from 4 million children, ends Pell Grants for 1.4 million students, cuts Medicaid and Medicare by over $1 trillion, but it gives the top 1% a $664 billion tax break. So the rich get richer. Hey.
I mean, this is exactly what this whole entire bill was about.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about, I think it's $50 billion they're about to give them or something like that for the border wall in this bill. I mean, this isn't the final bill. Of course, it has to go to the Senate. They're gonna mull over this bill. But there's a number of Republican senators who are like, oh, we're against this bill. We'll see what they end up voting at the end of the day, because I think they're going to be pressured from Trump for this bill. But when you're talking about that kind of, it's like you were saying, almost like it's like a $1.2 trillion cut in total. It's like 700 billion to like Medicaid, 500 billion.
And they also have a law in there where it's like, you can only claim dependents. So right now, like you can claim your kid as a dependent all the way to 18 because they're still children. And in this new bill, the age is 7, unless you're married.
I mean, this is a joke. I mean, you're cutting 1.2 trillion from people's Medicaid, Medicare. You're about to put copays for people making less than $15,500. You're about to make them pay a $35 copay. These people are already poor. I mean, you're taking away, I think it's almost over $300 billion, about close to $300 billion in food assistance. This is going to hurt millions of American families. It's a joke.
Well, the thing is, it's not, people be like, you may not be on food stamps. You may not feel like this is going to affect you, but you need to realize the community you live in. Because a lot of people use food stamps. A lot of they're called working poor, use food stamps. They use Medicaid because their jobs don't offer it. And I see a lot of people leaving their jobs to go get jobs that have benefits. And I see a lot of people, you're going to look like you got it, and a lot of people going to come get it from you. Because a lot of people get weird when they get hungry.
I mean, and bigger than that, saying, not even bigger than that, right along with that saying right there is just that, I mean, there's a lot of working poor, and it's going to get worse right now. I mean, as the rich get richer, people don't seem to like keep pace with them. I'm not saying you have to stay as rich as them or be in the same bracket as them, but as they get richer, everyone else seems to get poorer. Prices still seem to rise. There's no like correlation between, rich get richer, so trickle down economics has never worked. We all know this. This has been a consistent theme throughout our history. Ever since Reagan and the rest of these guys got into office and started cutting tax rates, it's been a problem. Middle class has been gutted. It's been gutted completely. And you think that you're a part of a class that you're not a part of next thing you know, AI is going to come in and, artificial intelligence is going to come in and take your job. And then you're going to be looking at being a working poor. And those programs aren't going to be there anymore. They're going to be hard to pass.
What do the rich people think they're going to do? I mean, you're stepping on the necks of everyday Americans. First of all, in America, we shouldn't be in a situation where this many people need welfare at all. At all. 44% of children are in need. They use SNAP and Medicaid. They're about to lose that. So that's a little less than half of America. We shouldn't be in this situation anyways, but we're in the situation because the greed of the million and billionaires and the corporate owners.
And the government.
So what do you think is going to happen once you take all this stuff away? Because we're not going to we might start to turn on each other a little bit, but then we're going to start looking at your house. Like, hey man, you got a lot of Christmas lights up this year. You got a lot of Halloween decorations up this year. Looks like you doing all right. And we're going to have to come after you. Think about it. The places you eat, that's where we work.
They tend to keep people fighting with each other. They've been very good at keeping people fighting amongst ourselves. They've been very, very good at making this whole entire thing seem like it's you see that guy, that cookie on that guy's plate right there? That guy got your cookie. Why are they sitting here with a plate full of cookies? And no one, like I said, we're not mad at you about your wealth. No one's disparaging you for being wealthy, but we're disparaging greed. At a certain point in time, it gets to become greed. You don't even get free lunches to kids in school. Yeah, we're not even able to get breakfast and lunch to kids who go to school.
And they have to be there.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, but this is America. We pay taxes for these things to happen. They're talking about kicking a lot of this stuff back to the states. Whenever that's another thing I want you guys to always listen to too. When they talk about kicking something back to the states, the states don't have the money to pay for it. That's why the federal government is helping, because the states don't have the money to pay for it. This is the problem. There's a lot more red states that don't have the money to pay for it than anyone else. There's a lot of poor people there. What do you think those people are going to do? They're going to have to move to a state that does. And do they provide any kind of real like incentive? Like, do they come with a skill or a craft? Some of them may, some of them may not. But that's what's going to end up happening. And it's just a problem. This is a horrible bill. This is not helpful to anyone. They basically the reason why they cut all these things is not because they're fraud, waste, and abuse. Is lies. These are lies. The reason why they did it so they can pass the budget through reconciliation. The reconciliation process is basically where they can have a 51 to 50 or 49 vote and win. And this is how they can get it done. Reconciliation process means that basically they're saying that this bill will basically pay for itself over a certain period of time. And we know it won't. It's going to add trillions to the deficit. I don't even know who vetted this to even make it seem like it will be budget neutral, because it won't. And they know it. Even the Republicans in the Senate have said this. It's ridiculous that we're even sitting here having this conversation because it's a blatant lie.
Well, I mean, this is what they told everybody. Oh, we're not going to cut SNAP or Medicaid or any of that. I mean, they told you what they lied to you about.
What did Trump say? What did he say?
He said kids will have more food with this.
He said, one more time, please.
Trump said, hey, kids will have more food when we cut SNAP.
He said the kids will have more, people will have more food when we cut SNAP. I don't even know how you even, who does that make sense to? That you'll have more food when we take away more money from people to be able to buy food. That also hurts farmers. It hurts everybody down the line. Yeah. Everyone. And at the same time, it's also, I mean, there's a lot that goes into all of this stuff right here. We really have to look at, but it's just ridiculous, man. And I really wish that we could delve deeper into this for you, but this will definitely be something we'll be paying attention to.
Oh yeah. We're going to keep you updated on it too, because I mean, we're going to see the effects in the streets. Truly. So here, I got this one here. DHS violates court order by deporting migrants to South Sudan. The Trump administration violated a previous court order when it deported at least 6 migrants to South Sudan without providing them opportunity to challenge their removal to a country where they could be tortured, prosecuted, or killed, by a judge ruled Wednesday. The migrants were loaded onto a plane on Tuesday and flown to South Sudan less than 24 hours after receiving notice of their removal and without an opportunity to assert claims for prosecution under the United Nations Conventions Against Torture. The U.S. State Department warns Americans against traveling to South Sudan due to crime, kidnapping, and armed conflict. Judge Brian Murphy of the U.S. District of Massachusetts issued his order Wednesday in a case filed in March challenging the Trump administration's policy of sending migrants to a country that is not their own without prior notice and meaningful opportunity to contest the removal on the basis of fear of prosecution, torture, or death. Now, I just saw the pictures of the gentleman. I'm going to show them to Wes really quick, and I'm going to show them to you. Maybe one guy looks like he's from Sudan. The rest are like Asian.
Or Hispanic.
Or Hispanic.
There's a number of,
they're sending people wherever now.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine on my page who put, a bunch of the guys and their charges and everything like that. They had some murder charges, and I think they had some stuff like that. Some pretty severe charges. I'm not sure if there are more people who went or not, or if these guys were even the actual people, or just the people who went. But I mean, it doesn't matter what they did. Take them, send them back to their country. I mean, if you catch someone, send them back to their home country. Get them out of here. You don't send somebody where they don't even know where they're from. They're not even from here. Well, why would you send them to Sudan on top of that?
Yeah. The whole thing is what the Trump administration has done. The same thing they did to, African Americans. They dehumanize you by using certain words. Alien, saying immigrant, illegal. They do that so they make it seem you're not human. And then if the people don't speak English, we're so ignorant to it. We're just like, okay, they're not like us. And so you can do that. And after you dehumanize people so long, people don't care. They're not looking at the person like, okay, this person has a family. This person has kids. Think about it. We live in a country full of monsters. I don't know how we try to downplay it all the time. I live in a country full of monsters. I grew up in a country full of monsters. These people have no empathy. They have no heart. They have no kindness to them. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I don't really care for them anyways, but those are the people that are in power right now. And so, but just deporting people anywhere, that's crazy. And think about it, they're going to start doing that to American citizens.
Yep,
once they get rid of due process, they might just grab you up, Wes, and be like, Wes, you look like that guy Akon. You're from Sudan, and send you over.
They're not even going to tell me. It doesn't matter where you're from. This isn't about being from there. This is about you not being from. That's the problem. You're not from here. So basically, South Sudan is on the verge of civil war. Sudan's in a civil war right now. There's a civil war going on in Sudan. Murder, killing. This is right north. It's like Canada. It's like being, and it's not even as big as that. Let's just say it's like being in Washington. There's a civil war going on in Oregon. You know what I mean? I know it's bigger than that, but I'm just saying that's pretty much what's going on. But there's a civil war about to break out in South Sudan. And so, I mean, the thing of it is, though, they're talking about one of the guys, is at least one, is from Vietnam. They said the closest embassy in Africa to South Sudan is 800 miles away in Tanzania. You know what I mean? This is nuts, man. This is the dehumanization, like he said, of these human beings, and they don't even care. They're basically saying, whoever will take them, I'll pay you to take them. We'll just send them to you. Doesn't even matter. This is being done intentionally. This is all test runs for when they start doing this to American citizens, because you're next. You don't think you are, because it has nothing to do with you. We see who they're grabbing up. So that's why the world's sitting. I mean, I want to say the world. This country's sitting silent about it in most parts. But this is illegal. What they're doing. This is the most illegal thing, immoral, illegal thing you could possibly do.
It's the most illegal thing they've done this week.
Absolutely.
Next week's they'll be like, hold my beer.
Yeah, it definitely will be something brand new. When you sit back and, I mean, to me, it's just shocking, man, that we're sitting here having this kind of conversation, that they're sending people who they could easily send back to their home. They had no problem sending, Kilmar back to El Salvador. Oh, he's from El Salvador. That was their story then. You just have to pay attention to these people and let them talk. They'll tell you who they are. They'll explain to you exactly who they are and what they're for and why they're for it. They have no problem just because it's people like you. But this next subject it will be a spinoff into exactly why to pay attention to what these people say and do. You know what I mean? How the White House orchestrated Trump's Oval Office ambush of South African president. Moments before President Donald Trump escorted his South African counterpart into the Oval Office on Wednesday, White House aides could be seen wheeling two large screen televisions down the driveway and into the West Wing. Little could have prepared President Cyril Ramaphosa for what he was about to see. Trump ordered the lights dimmed and launched into what amounted to an ambush of his visitor, screening a video he claimed was evidence for his false suggestions that white South Africans are being subjected to persecution and genocide. A shocked Ramaphosa, who had just been exchanging pleasantries with Trump about golf, watched silently. An experienced diplomat who once served as Nelson Mandela's chief negotiator during the talks to end white minority rule, Ramaphosa could barely disguise his discomfort. The moment was an orchestrated one, with Trump's team also having printed out articles for him to hold up in front of the camera that he said backed up his claims of white genocide. It was perhaps inevitable that Trump would use the meeting to advance the fringe claims, which has amplified for months, that white farmers in South Africa are having their land seized and are being killed in massive numbers. Just last week, 59 white South Africans arrived in the United States after being granted refugee status by the White House. Since taking office in January, Trump has shown little hesitation at turning his meetings into moments for public hostility. Yet the multimedia surprise exceeded anything he has previously staged in the White House. Even his shouting match with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in February, which appeared to some critics as pre-planned trap, did not come with visual aids. A White House official said Trump was using Wednesday's event to shed light on an issue that the administration believes the media has turned a blind eye to. CNN has investigated the claims of white genocide in South Africa and found no evidence to back them up. However, Trump said he had heard from thousands of people about the issue, and despite Ramaphosa's calm attempts to describe his country's situation and pick apart Trump's allegations, Trump appeared unmoved. Death, 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 horrible death, he uttered, flipping through the pages of his article printouts. As evidence of the scene was unfolding, Trump and his team had done extensive planning ahead of time to attempt to back up the unsubstantiated claims of white persecution. Aides said they had anticipated the issue would be at the heart of the Oval Office sit-down and took notice when Ramaphosa said before traveling to the White House he had hoped to disavow Trump of his misguided views. They helped inspire the White House plan to come to the talks armed with materials and play the video, which depicted firebrand opposition politician Julius Malema making calls for violence against white farmers. Shortly after the video finished playing, the White House had posted a copy on its official social media accounts. The articles Trump waved around during the session were systematically shared online by aides. This was a very so
the videos that he showed them were from the Congo. They weren't even from South Africa.
This is what I heard too. You know what I'm saying? This is a very disturbing. Like, I watched that whole entire meeting that they had, and I watched the entire thing. And it was very disturbing to me because what I saw was the exact same thing these people have been doing for years to just to black people in general, but to any country of color. They were basically demeaning them. He sat there, he brought like a couple of golfers, white golfers. They were South African, born golfers. And he gave them, and a billionaire who was there, who was a white South African as well. He gave them more credit for speaking than he gave the delegation of blacks who were sitting there. They almost had to use them to say, hey, talk to this man. It was a demeaning thing. To me, it shows where this country is heading. Y'all don't understand this, but people of African countries of color are taking over. It's what it is. America is already flipping its demographics from being a majority European, because I don't even like to use word white, because there's no such thing as white, a European-based nation, to being a nation of people of color, period. That's what's happening here. So him sitting there in the Oval Office, demeaning this man and not letting him speak for himself, but taking the word of people who are not even in the government. And the one white man who's in the government, he's siding with this group of this politician right here because he doesn't want the other guy who was saying death to white people, quote unquote, to end up being the leading party, in South Africa. So this is why he's even here. It's crazy to me that we're sitting here letting him point out a fringe candidate like, hey, look at this guy. He's saying this. You know how many fringe people we have in this country who say stuff? We watch Nazis on a bridge.
Well, somebody pointed it out too. They're like, Trump, while surrounded by portraits of slaveholders and men who slaughtered Native Americans, lectured South African on human rights.
We got people who sit here on a bridge calling for death to blacks and all kinds of stuff. It happens in this country. Don't act like it don't. We got murders we got a lot of murders that happen in this country. Don't act like it doesn't happen. We all know this stuff, but you want to sit here and preach this person, but they're just so happen to be white. Do you care about what's going on, the genocide in Sudan? Do you care about that? What about the DR Congo? You didn't say nothing about those. You're worried about these people. You're telling everybody who you are. And I'm no longer going to say you're racist. You're a racist. That's just what this is. This entire policy is racist. Elon Musk is a racist. He's from a racist regime. If it's me and I'm in South Africa, I'm taking their lands as well. They own 80% of the arable farmland is owned by 7% of the population. How? You know why? I mean, most of the wealth in the country, the wealthiest man in your country is a Afrikaner, which is a European skinned person. How? Because they own everything. They came to your country, killed your people. This is what they did when they came here. So, I mean, and then one of the golfers had the nerve to say, well, two wrongs don't make a right. Like what wrong has happened? What wrong? You haven't been wronged. You came to someone else's land, your forefathers, took the land, took their property. So if they take it back now, it's just like when Trump said about you came and conquered an untamed land. Remember when you guys came and conquered an untamed land here in America? They're coming to take their stuff back. We should have no problem with that. And if they want to leave, go back to where you're from, which is Germany, the Dutch lands up there as well, Belgium, countries like that. That's where you're from. You're not from here. So go back to those places. Why are they coming here? We should have no problem with people saying, you know what, we're going to reclaim our land. But for some reason, we have this person in the White House pushing for this group to be shielded like there's some type of a genocide happening to them. When he explained, he said, you know what, there's a lot of crime in our country, and most of it happens to black people in our country. There's not very much of it happening to you guys. You guys are wealthy, living high on the hog. Most of you.
Whoa, in America? In America?
No. In
Africa.
In Africa. Yeah, it's in South Africa. In South Africa, it's mostly happening to black people. It's not the white farmers that are being killed. Some of them are dying because there's crime, because they have a high crime rate. There's poor country. You know why? Because you guys went there, colonized, pillaged, raped, and took away from those people. That's why. Let's not act like you don't know why this is happening here. And now all of a sudden you want to be you want to be lord over these people and say, hey, you know what?
Well, no, they felt that power gripping away. You know what I'm saying? When you don't have absolute, like you see here in America, that's what this whole last election was. Once you feel that power gripping away from you, and you were like, man, I've been treating people like crap all my life, and my grandparents have done it, my great grandparents have done it, and now I'm about to lose that power, and they're gonna be able to treat me like crap. You know what I'm saying? You can act like you're the victim.
Let me run to the other European man who moved away to America, and now he's up under the president, so he can sit here and tell lies. Like you said, those grave sites were, I don't know, but I know that they're not even real grave sites. They were just like they're like basically ceremonial. Like these are for the people who died. People died. I wonder how many years it take for them to die. People die.
Every time they've had somebody from a foreign country come into the Oval Office, look, they had Zelensky up there. They started beefing in public. They had the Prime Minister of Canada. He looked him in the face. He's like, we'll never be the 51st state. You know what I'm saying? This guy from South Africa, it seems like no one's going to want to come to America anymore. You know what I'm saying? All you're doing is belittling people. You get everywhere around them and you're just acting, you're funky. This is stuff you should be doing behind closed doors.
And they lie about everything. It's all lies. You tell lies and you're sitting here like you're putting stuff on the screen. Like, look at this guy saying this. Anybody can say anything anywhere. We say it all the time in our country. People in this country say it. We've had people in our sit up who are a part of our Congress and say racist stuff all the time. It happens. It happens a lot. It's not like an abnormal thing for it to happen. Don't point out a fringe party. They don't even run South Africa. This is like a very small group in South Africa. You had 100,000 people in their village. So what? We got a lot of Nazis and racist people in this country. Act like we don't. They're sending money to the lady who called the little boy. Remember the little boy?
She's up to $1 million now.
Up to $1 million. You know what I mean? Kyle Rittenhouse. You know what you guys know where we live. We know where it is, but you want to have, because you can lord things over people. And the fact of the matter is this is coming to an end very soon. You guys just don't really realize it. Pay attention to population numbers, pay attention to GDP growth. It'll tell you more of the story.
Yes. And so Trump administration says Harvard can no longer enroll foreign students. Harvard University can no longer enroll foreign students, the Department of Homeland Security said Thursday, escalating the Trump administration's effort to exert influence over the Ivy League school. A statement from the Department of Homeland Security said existing foreign students at Harvard must transfer or lose their legal status in the United States. About 1 in 4 Harvard students are international, according to school data. Homeland Security Secretary Christine Noem said Harvard is fostering violence, anti-Semitism, and coordinating with the Chinese Communist Party on its campus. She said the actions against Harvard will serve as a warning to other universities. Last month, Noem demanded detailed records on Harvard's foreign students' visa holders, illegal and violent activities. It's a privilege, not a right, for universities to enroll foreign students and benefit from their higher tuition payments to help pad their multi-billion-dollar endowments, Noem said in a statement. Harvard had plenty of opportunity to do the right thing. It refused. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson said Harvard has become a hotbed of anti-American, anti-Semitic, and pro-terrorist agitators. They have repeatedly failed to take action to address the widespread problems, negatively impacting American students, and now they must face the consequences of their actions, Jackson said in the statement. The only thing they're saying here it's anti-Semitism. That's the main thing right there. But I mean, to take away, he's coming to Harvard hard. Someone's like,
programs, everything.
Someone's like, show the rejection letter you gave to Barron Trump.
I mean, and at the same time too, they're trying to take away their DEI programs. Harvard said no. I mean, this when you want to control schools, you want to control things. Just like you look at Verizon, they just signed it. Like I got a 20. I think they got like some type of $20 billion. They bought some other service, and for the FCC approved it because they took away their DEI. They said, okay, we'll get rid of DEI, and they helped, and they let them go ahead and approve the deal for $20 billion. So the point of this is, man, is the fact that I love the fact that Harvard's standing up, and I hope that over these next few elections, everyone remembers what this is. This is a Gestapo right here. This is basically a government going wild. This is a person who's in office who doesn't understand the even the rules of the presidency, the responsibilities of being president, and he has a bunch of you look at Christy Noem, she didn't even know what was it, habeas corpus. She didn't know any of this stuff. She didn't know what any of this stuff meant. She was there, asked her certain questions. She had no clue. These people are clueless. They have no idea what they're doing.
Well, they're not real government officials. I mean, if you think about it, bro, they're all DEI.
I won't even use that term. Now, I think I'm not saying you shouldn't, but that's an ugly terminology. It's because it's being used towards people of color, towards women and whoever else. They use it as a thing that they're saying, oh, you're this if you're not that. He's an absolute moron as for president right now. He's a dummy. He doesn't know anything. You guys think he's smart, but he's not. He doesn't know anything. He sit up here. He'll basically put a television thing on and say, hey, this is true because the television said so. He said it during their debate. I saw it on television. And you guys sit here and act like this man is smart. And he's telling you, he's taking what these people say and giving it to you, and you call it gospel. That just tells me who you really are. A lot of you guys don't know anything. You just ride behind it because you have to, because that just tells me the weakness of your actual argument, the weakness of your mind. This is Jim Jones just waiting. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Jim Jones is. The guy who gave everybody a little bit of juice. They all drank it. And next thing you know, they were finished. You know what I mean? So this is basically who this person is. He's leading the whole country into that juice drinking operation that he had, that real Jim Jones already went through.
This is just them trying to assert their power and, bring in their new regime. I mean, I know the colleges have linked up. A lot of them have been like, yo, if they attacks one of us, we all support you. And we're going to help you, get funds. And so they're kind of like they're linking up themselves. But I mean, it's some dangerous times, man. You're trying to go after schools for a foreign nation, basically. That's what you're doing it for.
I mean, and it's sad, man. Because to me, this next story that I'm going to walk into is basically it goes right back down the same exact path of they want to talk about anti-Semitism as much as they want to, and I mean it's an ugly word, anti-Semitism. But at the same time, you guys are starving children in Gaza, starving women, children, and just and men as well in Gaza. But anyways, court papers say suspect in embassy killings declared, I did it for Palestine. I did it for Gaza. The man accused of fatally shooting 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy in Washington outside a Jewish museum told police after his arrest, "I did it for Palestine. I did it for Gaza." Federal authorities said Thursday in announcing charges in the killing they called a targeted act of terrorism. Elise Rodriguez, 31, shouted, "Free Palestine," as he was led away after his arrest. According to the charging documents that provided chilling new details of the Wednesday night shooting in the nation's capital that killed an American woman and an Israeli man who had just left an event at the museum. They were set to become engaged. The stunning attack prompted Israeli missions to beef up their security and lower their flags to half staff. It came as Israel pursues another major offensive in the Gaza Strip in the war with Hamas that has heightened tensions across the Middle East and internationally, and that law enforcement officials have reportedly warned could inspire violence in the U.S. Rodriguez faces charges of murder of foreign officials and other crimes and did not enter a plea during a perfunctory court appearance. Additional charges are likely, prosecutors said. Hold on. Additional charges are likely, prosecutors said, as authorities continue to investigate the killings as both a hate crime against the Jewish community and terrorism. Violence against anyone based on their religion is an act of cowardice. It is not an act of a hero, said Jeanine Pirro, the interim U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated, especially in the nation's capital. 2 people were identified as Yaron Lenchinsky, an Israeli citizen, and Sarah Milgram, an American. They were a young couple about to be engaged, according to the Leader, the Israeli ambassador to U.S. Those who knew them paid tribute to the pair Thursday as warm, vibrant, and curious, dedicated to promoting peace and aspiring to bridge cultural and religious divides.
So, I mean, I can see it happening. I see why it happens. You know what I'm saying? There's only so long you can put your neck on somebody's, or your knee on somebody's neck before they strike back. But, you know, this is going to be a bigger story than it's supposed to be. People die every day, B.
Jeez. I mean, I look at it like, you know, let's hope that this is just like a lone wolf type of an attack. But I mean, you guys are really, you're killing a lot of people. You can't, I mean, no one's stopping. You're starving them out. You're committing atrocities, and you expect people not to buck back. But you're like, oh, well, what about anti-Semitism? We're not listening to that anymore. No one cares, man. It's been a long time since that happened. You know, it's been a very long time. People, we're at a point where we're looking at you for who you are. You're not just protecting Israel anymore. You're committing genocide in Israel now.
Israel's not an American country, so I don't know why. And also, you know, they didn't even want to bring up the stuff about the guy in Florida. He shot 2 people. He was Jewish. He thought they were Palestinians, and so he shot them 17 times. But they happened just to be visiting from Israel. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the violence is going both ways. It's sad it had to come to tragedy like this. But you know what I'm saying? I've seen a whole bunch of black people get shot in a grocery store, and, you know, no laws were changed.
I see, you know, Pam Bundy crying about this situation, talking about this anti-Semitism has to stop. We're not anti-Semitic. We're looking at them for who they are and what they're doing. Period. This is what's happening in this country. We see you for who you are and for what you are doing. You are murdering children unabashedly. You don't care that you're doing it. You have you're blowing up buildings. You're dropping bombs everywhere, and we're funding this. So there's a problem here. That's why people don't feel sorry for you. I'm sorry. Do I feel sorry for this couple? I wish they didn't have to lose their life. Of course, I don't want people to have to die about this. But when people don't care, this is what they start to do. So I mean, I would think that maybe more of this stuff might end up happening. When
you act and treat people like monsters unconditionally, then you get monsters out of the situation.
Absolutely.
And that's just what that is. Should people be dying like this innocently? No. But I mean, we've watched the genocide go on. The Gaza costs go on in Gaza forever. Little kids' legs blown off. People, I mean, what do you think? Someone's not going to strike back? People don't care no more. You treat them like monsters, they're going to show you what a monster is. I'm just saying. It's a tragedy that people are dying on both sides.
Absolutely. And with that,
this is Uncommon Courtesy. We'll see you next time.